Hello and welcome to another episode of In Dispute. This time we're looking at the 2015 Oscars. So if you've heard our other episodes, we've looked at 2016, 2017 and 2018.
So what year did these films come out?
So these ones came out in 2014.
It's going to be confusing every episode.
And the Oscars took place in the year 2015. I said that in a weird way. But this episode we're looking at 2014.
2014 films, 2015 ceremony.
2015
I'll just turn up to these things and I don't...
You don't know what's going on.
Uninvited as well, it's weird.
Yeah. So if you haven't listened to the show before, what we do, we look back at different Oscars. We're going back year by year, and we look at the big four categories: picture, director, actor, and actress, and decide if the Academy got it right or not. And then we look at something else in the awards that we felt
Our own personal grudge.
Yeah. That
They've been pretty good though, haven't they? I've
They've
noticed. I always sort of think after the Oscars, like, oh, they got so much wrong, and then so as we've been going back like this, I've sort of been like, well, actually, I can kind of see that winning. But I guess we're going to get there as we go a little bit further.
I feel like as if the further back we go, the more likely we're going to have problems with stuff.
Crash.
Yeah. So I haven't introduced you yet, so I don't know why you're talking.
Sorry.
Tommy's here.
Hello.
And Steve is here.
What's up, guys?
So let's just jump in. Tommy, which one would you like to start? Which category would you like to
Take your
start
pick.
Let's start with Best Actor.
with? Best actor.
Why not?
Go for it.
Sure.
So the nominees: Michael Keaton for Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance,
Cacao.
Benedict Cumberbatch for The Imitation Game,
Numbers.
Bradley Cooper for American Sniper,
Guns.
Steve Carell for Foxcatcher,
Wrestling.
and Eddie Redmayne, the winner for The Theory of Everything.
Wheelchairs.
Okay, don't know what to do with that. This is an interesting one because I think everyone thought Michael Keaton was getting it.
Yeah.
I think even did you ever see that footage of him like having to put his spit?
Oh,
in
it's
his
so
pocket?
awkward.
So awkward. But do you know what? Eddie Redmayne was excellent in this, and it's one of those very traditional sort of Oscar like baity roles where it's transformative. It's a true story. He went through real physical change in this, and he did a really great job as well, I have to say.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably deserving. It's another one of the cases of like I don't want to argue it because he could easily won it as well, even if Michael Keaton probably was my favourite year.
Yeah.
So no dispute from me.
That's good. Steve?
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as Tommy. Like, literally no dispute. It's so deserving for Eddie Redmayne. Just the way he got into that.
Was it your favourite of the year?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I cried in the cinema when the credits rolled.
The score for that film was great.
It's absolutely amazing. But yeah, you had this amazing kind of love story throughout the years, and also as well you had like the science parts as well.
Yeah.
But Black Hole, it made it interesting.
Yeah.
Even something like as complex as that. Yeah, so no dispute from me either.
Yeah, no dispute from me either. I really loved The Theory of Everything. It was one of my favourite films of that year. I just found it so powerful, and I think a big credit of that goes to Eddie Redmayne and his performance of Stephen Hawking. It was really incredible, and he really turned him around as an actor and put him out there, and that's why we've got Fantastic Beasts. That's what he got off the back of this film.
Yeah.
And then he also got another nomination the year after, which
The
we
Danish
spoke about
Girl.
in the last episode. Yeah, The Danish Girl.
And then Jupiter Ascending.
And then Jupiter Ascending. We don't talk about. Just to talk about the other ones, I'm a massive Steve Carell fan. I know you are as well, Steve. Foxcatcher was a bit of a
Steve
sleeper,
Carell.
I think. That what?
I like Steve Carell.
But we're bigger fans though.
We're bigger fans.
I love The Office.
But I don't know.
I love The Big Short.
Foxcatcher for me kind of got swept under a bit. It wasn't as big I don't think it was one of the better films.
It's good as a performance piece for Steve Carell and Channing Tatum. But apart from that,
it was a little bit slower and perhaps narratively it wasn't as strong as the other ones. But Steve Carell was great, and if I might even have given it to Carell over Keaton.
Really?
Actually.
Oh, no way.
Again, Keaton was fantastic.
It's Keaton's best role still.
But he's used to playing Birdman, so.
Well, Mr. Cooper, any love for him and American Sniper? I know
opinions
on this film is very mixed.
I I know I've watched it, but I don't really remember it.
You know, in Inglourious Bastards,
Mm.
the propaganda film they make about Steve, is it Steve Brawl? What's his name? No, it's not Steve Brawl. Daniel Brawl. Daniel Brawl.
Yeah.
His character they make that
Oh,
like
you're actually going for the actor. I thought you meant the
they
character's name.
they have they make a Nazi propaganda film about his like feats as a sniper.
Yeah.
American Sniper is very much that, but for Americans.
Yeah.
it's kind of awful.
Yeah. So
Made a lot of money though, especially in January.
Horrid money,
They
yeah.
made a lot of money. But no, for me, it's. I was going to say Hawking, but Eddie Redmayne's Oscar, no dispute.
I think fair shout should go to Benedict Cumberbatch as well because it was such a touching and emotional and vulnerable performance he gave in The Imitation Game. 100%, yeah. But though The Imitation Game and The Theory of Everything are very much on the same level for me.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily prefer one to the other.
Interesting.
Actually, I prefer The Imitation Game.
Interesting.
But yeah, their performances were both fantastic. But I do think Keaton would be my out and out winner. But I don't think the Academy necessarily got it wrong by going with Redmayne.
Yeah. Steve, what do you want to go to next?
Let's do Best Actress. Let's keep it in that flow. So we got Reese Witherspoon in Wild. We got Rosamund Pike in Gone Girl. Felicity Jones in The Theory of Everything. Marion Cotillard, and then Julianne Moore as well. Completely ruined that pronunciation there. I'm disputing it. I'm going to go for Felicity Jones in The Theory of Everything.
Interesting.
I'm calling it right now. Yeah, she's at this. I think she's at the same level, literally, as Eddie Redmayne in that film, if not maybe a little bit better in some spots. Because, like, just to see that character's transformation throughout the film as well, dealing with her husband and his illness, and then, like, you know, her moving away into like seeing another man on that because of like just how like in the world of science he kind of like went into that. He got, you know, as he was also lost in his body and, you know, his like mental facilities, he's also lost to science as well, and also, you know, lost his wife from that. And just I think she's an amazing actor. Like, she's so raw in that film. But I'm maybe giving another shout out to Rosamund Pike and Gone Girl. Even though I didn't like the film as much, I prefer the book. But she's really good. Yeah.
I'm also disputing 100%.
Same person?
No, for Rosamund Pike, I think she was fantastic in Gone Girl.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
I think the way she has you so much in the palm of her hands, like as an audience, you're just completely enraptured by her. And then the twist, which I feel like we could probably talk about at this point, but if you haven't seen it, fair warning, when she just completely turns around and she's like the villain essentially. She's the antagonist of the film. I was so shocked, and her performance really like captures that. And I think the best thing, and it's one of those small things, but the film starts with her looking to the camera like upwards from like being like laying down, and you know you feel a million different things about that look, and then the film finishes with the exact same look and you feel a million different things, and I think that's so powerful, and I thought she dug so deep for this, and I think it's the best she's ever been, and I definitely would have given it to her. Special mention to everyone else in this category though, especially Julianne Moore and, as you say, Felicity Jones. This is the first time I think I remember seeing Felicity Jones, and she really like jumped on my radar after that, and I've liked her in pretty much everything I've seen her in since. But for me, it's Rosamund Pike's award.
Yeah, it's a really difficult one because all five of these people, I wouldn't be like disappointed if they got it.
The subject matter of Julianne Moore's in particular is a bit of a rough one.
And that's probably why she got it.
Which
is completely fair, and I don't know. This is a hard one to dispute because I thought Julianne Moore was incredible in Still Alice, but I think Rosamund Pike just takes it to another level, and like for the exact same reasons that you were saying. Felicity Jones, I don't know. I've seen her. I feel like I've seen her do better stuff since. And I think she's got more in her to like go to. I have no doubt that she'll potentially get more noms and an Oscar at some point. But I think I'm going to dispute it and go for Rosamund Pike as well. So let's look at Best Director now. Morten Tildum for The Imitation Game, Wes Anderson for The Grand Budapest Hotel, Bernard Miller for Foxcatcher, Richard Linklater for Boyhood, and Alejandro Inarritu for Birdman or the Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. You're going to have to say it. We're not shortening it to Birdman anytime. You've got to say it the whole time. There's no dispute at all for me. I'm a big fan of Birdman. I think it's a really well put together film. Talking a bit about the cinematography, that whole like one shot aspect of the film was a big talking point about people and why people wanted to go and see it, just to see how this film that was supposedly one take, I think it was only done over like 28 days or something like that.
Really? Yeah.
It was a really quick turnaround, yeah.
Yeah, and to get the performances out of Michael Keaton that we spoke about, we took Emma Stone, who got a nomination.
Yeah. Edward Norton is great in it as well.
He is fantastic.
Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
I never knew he had that in him, to be honest.
Exactly. It's just such a... I don't know, a lot of people, I think, to use your phrase, Steve, poo-poo it, I think, a little bit, because it's a little bit... It is a bit Oscar baity, and it's about Hollywood, which isn't for everyone. But I think Alejandro really puts his own spin on it and has created his own... I
don't think it's about Hollywood in the same way a lot of Oscar bait films are, where it's almost like praising Hollywood and giving themselves a pat on the back. I think it's more kind of like turning a mirror on Hollywood and showing all its ugly features a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. And the way they sort of deal with like criticism in it and stuff like that, I thought was really interesting. Obviously bringing like Michael Keaton into it. I think Inarritu did a fantastic job with this. However, I do have a dispute.
Ooh.
And it's not any of the nominees on there.
Interesting.
I think Damien Chazelle should have won for Whiplash.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I was going to mention it.
Honestly, I think Whiplash is one of the greatest films of the last decade.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's the second greatest film of the last decade. Maybe it'll come out as a top 10 one day. But I thought to not even get nominated is an absolute sham, and there's going to be another big omission that I'll talk about when we get to Best Picture. But the fact that he didn't get nominated for it honestly shocks me, because it's such a tight film. I mean, it did win some technical awards in like editing and some of the sound mixing.
Yeah.
But the fact that he didn't get one for Best Director because he brought out a Best Supporting Actor winning performance from J.K. Simmons, you know, a performance I'm sure a lot of us didn't think we could get from Miles Teller.
Yeah.
It was such a wonderful film, and I think the strength of that film is in the directing,
and
it's an alter, you know, performance, like tour de force even from him as well as the writer and director. Who do I kick out?
Foxcatcher,
possibly Foxcatcher. Yeah, Wes Anderson should be in there. Morton Tildum. Yeah, I'd say probably Bennett Miller. I think Richard Linklater deserves to be in there. We haven't really spoke about Boyhood yet, but I thought it was an excellent film. I thought it was really clever, creative, and I think stuff like that should be celebrated. So probably kick out Bennett Miller, and I'll probably give it to Chazelle.
For me, I'm not going to dispute it. I think Birdman is very much more deserving of that. Closely followed by Wes Anderson, but for me, it's more down to cinematography in that film than him as a director. Because Anderson come in second, because for Budapest Hotel, like every frame in that film is a painting, but it's just down to the aesthetic of the film. It's not really down to...
That is so much him, though.
It's a Wes Anderson film.
I suppose in that sense, but I think cinematography-wise, and then the aesthetic of the film, the way it's presented, and like it's a close second, but I'm not disputing.
No dispute. So how many disputes are you on, Tommy? So far?
2. 2 out of 3?
I'm on 1 out of 3. Steve?
I think I'm 2. Yeah, Felicity Jones.
I'd like to know who disputes most. It might be me.
It might be, but Steve's the infamous poo-pooer.
I am, so for me it's like a redemption arc.
So let's go on to the Best Picture category.
The big one.
The big one. So the nominees were Whiplash,
Woo!
The Theory of Everything, Selma, The Imitation Game,
Woo!
Grand Budapest Hotel,
Woo!
Boyhood, American Sniper.
This is the thing now. Have I started this trend of like sound effects? I'm all for it.
And the final one, which one was Best Picture, was Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance.
Woo!
I get another stacked year. You look at all these films, and I know, Tommy, you said you're going to bring up one that you think that didn't get nominated.
Nightcrawler. Yeah,
that's fair enough.
That's a good mention.
Nightcrawler should have been nominated for Best Picture. It didn't get a mention in any category. Oh no, I think it got screenplay. I think it got Best Original Screenplay nom. But it didn't get mentioned in any other category.
Especially
to be fair, I probably should have brought up in Best Lead Actor because Jake Gyllenhaal gave the best performance of his career, and he's had some amazing performances, and he was so good in Nightcrawler. I think Riz Ahmed probably should have got nominated for Best Supporting Actor as well. I've got a whole load of disputes this year.
Where Tommy becomes the poo-pooer.
This is great. Let's continue this trend.
Actually, do you know what? I'll dispute Best Actor. Gyllenhaal should have won. Gyllenhaal should have been nominated, and he should have won.
You're disputing.
I've got 4 out of 4.
I'm uncomfortable right now.
I genuinely still would give. No, I wouldn't. I'd give it to Whiplash. No, I'm disputing it. I think Whiplash
about on this.
I love Birdman, and it is one of those cases of like, oh, do I want to take it away because it still is excellent?
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to take it away. I think Whiplash should have won.
Steve?
I'm not going to dispute. Birdman is fully deserving, closely followed by The Fear of Everything. But you mentioned Nightcrawler now, and I should have mentioned that as well. 'Cause it's a great film. I can't believe it was like really underused in this. But yeah, James, what are you thinking?
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. But let's go through some of the. No, we've kind of spoken about American Sniper already.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Boyhood.
Yeah, Boyhood.
That was kind of the favourite.
Yeah, originally it was called 12 Years because it's about it's shot over 12 years, about 12 years of a young man's life. They had to change the title because the year before a film called 12 Years a Slave came out. Didn't want to be associated with that. And it's really interesting. I think a lot of people complain that it sort of meanders in the middle there, but I think you have to look at the limitations it had and look at it in context of what they did, and they sort of wrote it as they went. And I don't know, Patricia Arquette is amazing in this film. Ethan Hawke was really good as well. She won, and she gave a great speech that year as well. She did. But I have to say, I was really, really impressed with this film, and I think you got to give crazy props to Richard Linklater for holding it together over that whole time. So I think it really deserves the accolades that it got. I don't necessarily think it deserves any more. I think a lot of people were saying it was the front runner going in. Yeah. I think it might have won at the Producers Guild. I don't remember, but I think it did win a few of the big awards. So yeah, I think it deserves the nomination at least.
I'm not a fan of Boyhood, if I'm honest. I'm one of those people that says it meanders in the middle. I can appreciate
context.
I can appreciate that it's filmed over 12 years, but if I don't know, I live a life and I've lived over 12 years, and like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I think it works better in a yeah. Yeah, what?
It feels like
she was a pat you on the back for surviving more than 12 years.
It doesn't
come at me.
As a story, it just didn't feel anything special for me.
I was going to say it probably worked better in a short form narrative, and it works well as an experimental piece, but as a piece of like, I can't believe you, James.
I'm 23, man.
It's 12.
It's 12.
It's 12 and a half.
I got the same kind of vibes. What's that film we watched with Vincent Van Gogh in it?
I know the one you mean.
Oh,
yeah.
Being Vincent or whatever it's called.
No, it's
Loving Vincent.
No, was it the Loving Vincent? Yeah, it was like that. It would have been a great film if it was in 15 minutes, but over 2 hours, it just
that's a fair point.
Doesn't work. Yeah.
I think 12 years. I don't think you can to cut that much. I think it really worked. I think it's actually genuinely a good story as well. About like the reconnection with him and his dad, and like trying to come to terms with like their breakup. His dad's kind of pursuit of one thing. He's kind of trying to find who he is. The abusive stepfather and stuff. I feel like there's a lot of drama in there still to keep it interesting. And I think the fact that you had that added realism that these actors were aging as well as the characters, and you really see that. I thought it was spectacular.
I can appreciate it from like that artistic like point of view, and like the commitment to doing that one bit each, the filming that one bit a year, and I can appreciate that. But yeah, just narratively, it just didn't work for me. Let's move on to the Grand Budapest Hotel.
It won a lot this year.
It did win a lot.
I think it won the most.
I don't know. Maybe I'll come forward to work it out, but. Sure, I'll take your word for it. Another Wes Anderson film, this one with Ray Fiennes, and I can't remember his name, the bellboy. But he was a big...
What, the actor?
Yeah.
Tony Ravioli, is it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, he's now obviously in the Spider-Man series.
I was going to say, isn't he Flash? Yeah.
And he's in Dope.
Yeah. And like he was a big standout, and the whole film as well. Like we said earlier when we were talking about director, you know it's a Wes Anderson film, and for me this was one of his better ones, and fully deserved the nomination.
it won costume design, hair and makeup, production design, and score. I think it was the.
They all make sense.
I think it had the most.
Yeah, they're all fine. I'm not disputing any of that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Steve, Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, I really what I've echoed before my sentiments towards the film, just how bloody beautiful it looks. And it's just pure Wes Anderson. I didn't like Isle of Dogs, like one of his latest ones.
I liked Isle of Dogs actually.
I think it fell really short for me. But like I said before,
I remember turning to you after Isle of Dogs and going, "That's style over substance."
The best part of that film was the free sweets we got.
Oh yeah, we got free sweets from and that wasn't even from the company.
No, I was just from the cinema.
So we kind of spoke about the Imitation Game a little bit. One we haven't spoken about.
The Grand Budapest Hotel, I love it. I didn't get a chance to speak about it.
Go on, Tommy, it's all you.
Go.
I think Wes Anderson's got a real gift for just assembling amazing casts because everyone wants to work with him. So I think he did another great job here with that. Obviously, Bill Murray's little cameo. Yeah. Willem Dafoe's hilarious in this, and I think the story in general is so good. And I think on the shoulders of like Ray Fiennes and Tony Ravioli, I think his name is. Yeah. I just think it's one of the funniest films of the year. It's one of the funniest films I've ever seen. Yeah, it's not even close. It's one of the funniest films of that year, and as I say, one of the funniest I've ever seen. So definitely deserves all the awards it won. In another year, it could have been a real front runner, but this year it was tough. And
the other one that we haven't spoken about that got the nomination was Selma. Obviously, talking about Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
I only watched it recently, actually. I didn't watch it in 2014 or 15, wherever it got released in. And it was great.
It's so good, yeah.
David Oyelowo was fantastic.
Common.
Oprah.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic and definitely deserved the nomination. Maybe if some people will get to dispute that, and one of us will dispute the song.
I doubt it.
But you can't.
You can't.
That was.
I remember everyone talking about the perfect one-tear cry from Chris Pine.
Yeah, that
the standing ovation.
But that was such a powerful moment for the Oscars as well. So that was great to see. Just going back to no dispute for me for Best Picture.
No dispute.
So Nightcrawler.
4 for 4. That deserves a nomination. Definitely.
I'm 4 for 4 on disputes this week. I'm about to go 5 for 5 because the next one is just my extra dispute.
Go for your extra dispute then, just to hammer down on the poo-pooing, Tommy.
Bonus round.
So my extra dispute, surprisingly, isn't to do with Nightcrawler, even though you think it might be.
Is it to do with Whiplash?
It's not to do with Whiplash either.
Whoa.
It's to do with Best Animated Film.
Interesting. I wonder if we've all got the same one.
Yeah. So the glaring omission here. So the nominees were The Tale of Princess Kaguya. Mm-hmm. Kaguya, Steve?
Yeah.
Song of the Sea.
Song of the Sea. How to Train Your Dragon 2. The Box Trolls and Big Hero 6.
And the winner is Big Hero 6. But the glaring omission, it wasn't even nominated, which is insane to me, is the Lego Movie.
Yeah.
I think everyone was rolling their eyes when this film was announced, thinking, oh no, it's just going to be an advert. What are they doing? This is ridiculous. Lego, how can you make a whole film about Lego? And then I think people saw the trailer and they thought, oh, hang on, this could be really, really interesting. And then obviously it's Lord and Miller, who before this had already had success with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Well?
Cloudy Jumps at that point.
Jump Street?
Was that before?
Yes, 21 Jump Street had come out at this point. So I think everyone was very ready for it. And when they saw the trailer and I thought, oh, look at all these properties that Warner Brothers through Lego sort of have the rights to, and I thought, oh, this could be really interesting as that partnered with their unique voice. Wow, we all just delivered one of the surprises of the year. I think everyone could agree. And everyone was saying about how Everything Is Awesome should have been nominated for Best Song. Also, it should have won for Best Song. It shouldn't have. Glory was the best song. But it certainly should have won Best Animated Picture. And I love Big Hero 6, don't get me wrong, but I thought Lego Movie was far and away the better film.
Yeah. Are you disputing the same, Steve?
I'm disputing that category. It should have been The Tale of Princess Kaguya.
Interesting.
I know every year we get that token Japanese animated film. it's either Studio Ghibli or another company. I think this is Studio Ghibli. The art style in this film is absolutely amazing, and I think this is the most expensive Japanese film to date, like released.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay, yeah. It's an absolutely beautiful film. I said before with Wes Anderson that every kind of still in his films is a painting. It's the same with this film as well. It's absolutely beautiful. And another shout as well to Box Trolls, which is I think Studio Lakita. Yeah.
Laika? Is it
Laika. Stop motion and
different words.
What is one of them? Again, animation and stop motion takes a long time to do, and it's beautiful. And I do like Big Hero 6, but I think there's other well-deserving films that should have won.
But how many of those have Gandalf, like
Batman,
and Batman?
Then the whole DC franchise.
Imagine that, Steve.
Where's Van Helsing there?
Just saying.
He's probably in there.
You think?
I doubt it, no. They wanted a successful film.
I'm disputing the exact same thing as you are, Tommy. The Lego Movie. I don't understand why it didn't get nominated. Or
Boss Baby got nominated this year.
I don't know. It should have won. I don't know. Like everyone said, everyone was skeptical about it, and it's thanks to that we've got movies like the Emoji Movie and Playmobil movies coming out. And it's not to say that because I think a lot of people will, like Steve naturally does poo-poo on stuff, like even like hearing the idea of like a Lego movie that's just about Lego or an emoji movie that's just about emojis. And I think anything can work as long as you get a good set of writers and creators behind it. And Phil Lord and Chris Miller are some of the best working people. I mean, they've obviously eventually got their win this year with Spider-Verse. And they should have already had one with this.
The winner of the Insider Awards overall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Although that wouldn't have been the case had someone seen The Favourite.
I've seen it now, okay.
Yeah, but the Lego Movie, to not even be nominated is
insane.
Odd. Like, I just can't comprehend it, and then I'm disputing that.
Before we wrap up, can I have like one extra half dispute?
Oh, me too as well, actually. I want to jump on this.
Whiplash shouldn't have been nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's just ridiculous. So Damien Chazelle he already had the screenplay for Whiplash. He was pitching it around studios. They weren't going for it. So he made a short film version of his feature-length film, which is taking just one scene from the feature-length film, pitched that around, got that made, and then got the main feature-length version of Whiplash made, and then for some reason it got nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay because it was adapted from the short film version that was adapted from the feature-length version. Ridiculous. Stupid. Should have been nominated for Best Original.
I'll be honest and quick. My half one would be Best Original Score. The winner was the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Best score of the year.
It should have been either Interstellar or
worst score of the year,
or The Theory of Everything, because I love Johan Johnson's work.
Theory of Everything was a great score.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to dispute that. I loved the score in Grand Budapest, and I hated the score in Interstellar. I thought it was the most distracting,
so
worst part.
I don't mind it. I really like it.
I can hear the Grand Budapest score in my head now. Like just thinking about it, I can't think of any of the others.
Womp womp. There we go.
I think that's a good.
5.5 disputes this week, guys.
5.5. Steve, how many did you have?
Oh bloody hell! I never keep count of this.
Thank you, Grant.
I did.
I had 2.
I think I had about 3.
About 3. Great. Thanks.
3.5.
Thanks for keeping track.
I started at the top of this episode by saying, you know what, the Academy have been really good lately, and they disputed everything.
It's gone completely downhill in 2015. So that's it for this episode. Be sure to let us know what you think. If you follow us on Facebook or on YouTube, write in the comments and let us know what you disputed, or tweet at us, Tommy at Mr. TT Green.
Watch Nightcrawler.
Watch Nightcrawler. We should and every film on this apart from
American Sniper.
Ouch.
Or you can tweet at Steve, Stevie Pooper.
That's right.
How many followers are you on?
3 followers.
So you might be. This is coming out in the future, Steve. So you might.
Yeah, I could be less. Could be 1 at this point.
Or you can follow me at Floodgate28 and let me know what you think. And tune in next time for In Dispute when we look at 2013 films when the ceremony took place in 2014.
It's just so confusing. I can't wait until we do like the 1930s and the 40s. It's gonna be great.
Bye.
Bye.